Welcome to the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. Digital marketing essentials and next-level tactics. From off-site and on-site optimization to persuasive selling and everything in between. You'll learn actionable tips on what it takes to outright and outrank your competition.
Prove that you're an avid reader of this publisher. In the body of your email, it's important to show that you know this publisher. If you've never read this publisher's work before, the editor may not want to work with you. If your email reads as if you sent the same template to 20 different people, it's going to get rejected. Highlight and compliment a handful of posts you've enjoyed in the past, and make it obvious that you know this publisher's area of specialty. 60. Pitch an initial post that aligns with similar content on their site. At some point in your message, you'll need to make a pitch. It doesn't have to be fancy usually, a couple of concise sentences describing your idea are plenty. Pitch a tentative headline if you can, and describe the body of the article you plan to write. Some publishers have specific requirements for the formatting or presentation of new pitches, so do some research before you submit, and adhere to those rules as best you can. 61. Explain why this pitch will work. It's also helpful to explain why you think this would be valuable for the publisher's readership. You might note that there's a similar article already on the site, but it doesn't cover the topic from this angle. Or you might note that the publisher's target demographics tend to be very interested in material like this, citing statistics to back your claim. If you've written successful guest posts on other publishers, you may want to provide metrics like how many shares or comments those posts received. 62. Follow up politely if you don't hear back. Like I said, editors are busy people and they just get busier as you climb the ladder. It's normal to not hear a response for a few days. If you don't hear back after 3 to 4 business days, send a polite follow-up email, ask them to confirm receipt of the pitch, and ask if they think it needs any modification. 63. Comply with all editor requests. In many cases, the editor may respond to your pitch with a recommendation for how to make it a better fit. In other cases, you'll provide a written draft, which the editing team will review. At this point, you may get additional feedback for how to improve the piece. While you may not necessarily agree with the suggestions they make, if your priority is getting published, it's best to make the requested changes. For example, you may be forced to remove a link or replace it with a nofollow link. While not ideal, it's often worth making this initial compromise. The more polite, agreeable, and fast you are when editing the article, the more likely they'll be to work with you in the future or recommend you for other opportunities. Make their life easy, and they'll respond in kind. 64. Leverage your new guest author spot. If your first article is successful, your editor/publisher will likely be eager to work with you again. They may invite you to pitch some new ideas, or eventually, set you up with a recurring guest author spot. If you find yourself in this position, try to take advantage of it. Highlight your position when making pitches to new publishers, and try to publish follow-up pieces here even if you don't end up linking back to your site in every new submission. 65. Nurture your publisher-based community. Editors are fantastic connections to make, but readers are even more important. When publishing work on a new publisher, spend some time responding to the comments that inevitably roll in. If you're an active presence in discussions and you positively reinforce the community, people will be more excited to read your work. They'll also start following you on social media, which can lead to a bigger following and one more reason for bigger, better publishers to accept your work. 66. Maintain your old relationships. As you start to scale your link building strategy and work with higher national level publishers, your old publishers may start to seem less valuable by comparison. However, it's a good idea to maintain those old relationships, posting content occasionally on all your guest post accounts and checking in with editors on a periodic basis. Staying in good standing with a wide network of publishers will maximize the number of opportunities you eventually have, and boost your reputation as an author even further. The only exception here is problematic relationships, e.g., a very difficult or impolite editor, a practically non-existent readership, etc. Feel free to cut those out entirely. Miscellaneous bonus link building strategies. These strategies don't exactly fit with any of the other categories in this comprehensive guide, but they may still be helpful in earning you more links, stronger links, or more consistent links. 67. Set up 301 redirects for old or broken links. Occasionally, you'll need to get rid of a page, either because it's no longer relevant or because you're retooling it into something else. If you change the URL, all the links you built to that page in the past will become broken, rendering them practically useless for your brand. You can combat this by setting up 301 redirects, which take all traffic from the old URL and redirect that traffic to a new URL. As long as you're sending people to a relevant new page, Google is completely fine with this tactic. It even encourages it. 68. Keep your old content updated. If you're following best practices for content marketing, much of your content will be evergreen, meaning it's likely to remain relevant for a long time, if not forever. However, even evergreen content could stand to be periodically updated. Revisit your older material and make sure it's relevant, and be willing to add new facts, updated old statistics, and make tweaks to make sure it's better suited for the modern era. It's much cheaper and more efficient to keep your old assets relevant and link generating than to only create new ones. 69. Use youre. Help a reporter out, or youre is a resource used by journalists and writers when they need information from a specific source. Browse this periodically. You may find a request for an expert like you to provide insights on a given topic. If you indeed help this reporter out, they'll likely credit you for your contributions, including a link back to your site and/or author profile. Depending on the publisher they use, this can be massively valuable. 70. Volunteer or donate. You can also usually earn a link by donating to a nonprofit organization, or volunteering your time or services. For example, you might donate your services to a fundraiser for a local organization. When advertising the event on their website, this organization will likely reference your business with a link. If you donate money to an organization, they may include a link to your site on their donor page. 71. Make Wikipedia edits. In rare cases, you may be able to build links to your on-site content to serve as references on Wikipedia articles. Wikipedia is open to edits from practically any user. However, be aware that their community standards are very strict. If you include a link to your site, make sure your content is highly relevant, with specific information that's actually valuable for the article. It's also a good idea to make occasional Wikipedia edits elsewhere, so it doesn't look like the sole purpose of your account is to link back to your site. 72. Find and replace broken links. As you read content on the web, you'll likely encounter broken links that send you to a 404 page, or links that are no longer relevant. Treat these as an opportunity. If and when you find a broken link, reach out to the author or the publisher with a suggestion for a link to replace it. Assuming you have a piece of content that fulfills this requirement, your request will likely be met. 73. Leverage Quora and other services. Quora is a question and answer service where individual users can ask questions, and other users can answer them. You can think of it like an FAQ version of Wikipedia in this way. Create an account and start posting answers to questions in your specific industry. Occasionally, you'll find an opportunity to link back to an article on your site, either to cite a statistic or for further reading. As always, make sure you aren't spamming links. Instead, prioritize good answers, and include a mix of links to different authorities. If you consistently give good answers which users can upvote, your account will become more prominent, and your answers and thus your links will get even more visibility. 74. Offer corrections. Occasionally, you'll find mistakes on pieces of off-site content. They may cite a statistic that's out of date or make an argument that isn't quite accurate. When you find these instances, offer to make a correction, especially if you have an on-site article that already features the correct information. 75. Offer to update old content. You can do something similar by offering to update old content. For example, let's say you find an article with a title like How to Buy a Used Car in 2016 that hasn't been touched or updated since. You can reach out to the publisher and offer to write a new version that's updated for 2020. When you write this content or revise what's already there, you'll get the chance to include a link back to your site in some way. 76. Guest speak. If you know who to talk to, you can easily find guest speaking opportunities in your city. If and when you do, take them. Guest speaking gives you a chance to speak in front of like-minded professionals and show off your expertise. You'll also get the chance to present your blog to a new audience. Assuming you spend some time networking after, this can easily lead to a new influx of people reading your on-site material, and possibly new opportunities for publishing or content collaboration. 77. Create and sustain a community. One of the best things you can do for your link building strategy is create and sustain a community. You want people to actively engage with your content, sharing it, commenting on it, and reading it no matter which publishers you use. The more active fans you have, the easier it will be to find new publishing opportunities, the more links you'll earn, and the faster your online presence will grow. The best ways to build a community are to engage with your readers directly, give your readers a platform for comments and discussion, and network with new people constantly. Are you interested in using link building to improve your site's visibility, and get more organic traffic than you ever thought possible? These strategies will be a good start, but if you want reliable, long-term results, it's in your best interest to work with a seasoned link building agency like s.e.o.co. Contact us today, and we'll set you up with one of our dedicated account managers, who will provide you with a free consultation and an assessment of your current needs. From there, we can put together a custom link building strategy that works perfectly for your brand. And, for agency resellers, we also offer you the opportunity to resell SEO white label SEO solutions.
Thank you for joining us on the SEO.co podcast. We appreciate your time. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show, and visit SEO.co for more resources based on today's topic, as well as access to more podcast episodes to help you improve your site's long-term SEO success.